World Under-21 champion. He's in gate 2. Scott Nichols in his 8th grade GP. He goes from gate 3, the Brit. David Rood, the wild card, the 22-year-old lumberjack. That's him on the outside in yellow and black. A tremendous atmosphere here. The biggest crowd we've had this season other than in Carl.
Going for it, that's for sure.
Starting Marshall moves away. Oh, nearly a false start there. I don't know how our referee Tony Steele, whether he'll be happy with that, but it certainly hasn't hindered Scott Nichols. Flying out front into second place in red, Thomas Gollob, battling by Andres Johnson in blue. Right at the back is David Rood. But what a start for Scott Nichols. He's Chris Lewis' teammate at Ipswich. Chris, it couldn't have been better.
Absolutely fantastic start for Scotty there. I'm not sure if it was Scotty that moved a little bit, anticipated that, but it's all happening for second and third now. We've got Andreas Johnson's moved through, Thomas Gollob in third, and track looks to be settling down quite nicely.
Gollob going backwards, but this man, Scott Nichols, just what we wanted to see from Scott Nichols. He's been a shade disappointing, troubled by injury this year, of course, but down the back straight there, Scott Nichols totally in command. Andreas Johnson in the blue helmet colour in second place. Thomas Gollob struggling but still looking back in red. He'll have to go again to stay in this. Right at the back is the wild card David Rood. A lumberjack all right. He's lumbering round here a little bit, but this man is flying. Scott Nichols in the white helmet colours takes the checkered flag with a vengeance there in second place. Is Andreas Johnson in blue. Tremendous race by Scott Nichols. Peter Carlson, a local boy from Gothenburg. He goes in gate 2. Carl Stonehewer in white, gate 3 on the outside in yellow. That's Bjarne Pedersen in his first Grand Prix, but he'll be racing in the Mall next year. Has his feet number 2. Our referee Tony Steele, he's a Brit. They get settled. Starting Marshall moves away. Good start on the inside. Christoph Sigelski in red, but coming round the outside, putting him under pressure in yellow there. That's Bjarne Pedersen, the Dane, back in third place. Peter Carlson, the local boy, making good in white. Carl Stonehewer tracking them all at the moment. But a fine ride by Christoph Sigelski. Time to look back. When he does, he sees Bjarne Pedersen in his track. Right at the back, disappointment for the Prince is Carl Stonehewer, but a flying start from the inside gate by Sigelski.
Yeah, gate 1, Tony certainly seems to be working pretty good at the moment. Sigelski's out in front. You can see a lot of the guys, they're just struggling with that bottom corner somewhat. There seems to be some ruts appearing already, which doesn't bode well for later on in the meeting. But Peter Carlson's there's moved up into second place, one of the home guys, and he's going to be looking to move a long way up in this GP.
Peter Carlson starting to put pressure on Christoph Sigelski. One has the impression, though, Sigelski, the pole in the red helmet colour, has something in hand here. Carlson selecting his racing line. Remember, the front 2 march on. The back 2 will have to race again to keep out of the back 2 in their next race to stay in the Grand Prix. But a fine ride by the pole. Christoph Sigelski takes that one in red. In second place, in blue, is Peter Carlson. Third in yellow is Bjarne Pedersen. It means the race winner will go through to Heat 8, where it would have the inside lineup. Michael Carlson on the inside in red. Matty Foyn, the Slovenian, in blue, gate 2. Nicholas Klingberg of Sweden goes in white, gate 3. On the outside for Britain, that's Andy Smith. Chris, Andy's got a tough task in this one. Away again. Tony Steele's finger on the button, lets the times fly up. Line abreast, but look at that man in white, Nicholas Klingberg, the Swede, comes across them all, but he's now put under pressure up the inside in red by Michael Carlson. It's Sweden 1 and 2, but Klingberg looking brilliant in white. Back in third place in yellow is Andy Smith, who still could get into this one. Right at the back in the blue helmet colours, once again Matty Foyn, but a great start by Nicholas Klingberg.
Great start from gate 3 from Nicholas there. That's the first time we haven't seen the guy off gate 1 actually get to the corner in front. Nicholas made a lovely start from gate 3. He's holding his own out there, although Michael Carlson's not letting him get away, but I'm sure he's going to be happy to settle for second place. Having said that, he's really having a go up the inside now.
A big dog battle indeed in front, but once again Nicholas Klingberg picks it up as they come to the end of lap 3. 1 lap to go. Klingberg in front. Carlson in second place. They're out on their own. Andy Smith back in third, the Brit. Right at the rear in blue. Once again, Matty Foyn. Disappointment for the Slovenian, but look at this man, Nicholas Klingberg. A brilliant race for him. He's won it from pillar to post, but only just in the end. Mighty close. Michael Carlson in second place in red. And certainly, from his point of view, Andy Smith in yellow in third place will have to go again and will race in Heat 5 from gate on the inside in red from Norway. Nicky Pedersen goes into gate 2, the Dane, in 11 rounds without making the semi-final. Sebastian Ulebeck in his 13th Grand Prix. He too has reached the semi-finals. He's in white, gate 3. On the outside, Todd Wiltshire, of course, runner-up in Cardiff and one of the best gators in Speedway. And if Todd can make it from the outside, Chris, to come but our starting marshal moves away with a purpose. The wind is blowing the taints. Not easy for the referee or the riders, but a good start by Rudy Holter. Coming across in yellow. A great start by Todd Wiltshire, but he misses out on the grid. And going through in blue there, Nicky Pedersen does well there to head off Rudy Holter. And now that's how it lays with Nicky Pedersen bumping all over the place. There's Holter lifting as well. Really difficult with the riders on what's now becoming a bumpy track. Sebastian Ulemek is back in 3rd place. Disappointment for Todd Wiltshire now lying last, Chris.
Yeah, Nicky Pedersen, he was the wise man on the first corner. He could see all the action. He was reading the first corner, turned back, a lovely move up the inside, but he's coming under a fair bit of pressure from Rudy Holter at the moment. Rudy's trying to make some lines up on him. It seems to me at the moment all the guys thinking about overtaking are looking for long straights, cut back in the corner, long straights up the inside, but at the moment nobody's quite able to pull that move off.
A lap to go, as you see, from the yellow flag with the black cross on it. It's looking very easy indeed for this man out front, Nicky Pedersen, who's having a triumphant meeting already here. If he can keep it going, it'll be his best Grand Prix for a long while. But Nicky Pedersen is going to take the checkered flag now, and Nicky Pedersen can look back to see in the red helmet colours in 2nd place, Rudy Holter. Todd Wiltshire eventually coming through into 3rd place. And disappointment for Sebastian Ulemek, who started so well. But this man, Nicky Pedersen, 11 rounds without making the semi-finals. I just wonder if tonight here at the Ullevi Stadium, it could be the night. Golub turning away. Gate 2, Andy Smith, of course, the battling Brit. And we know how difficult it's been for Andy Smith in the Grand Prix this year, and certainly this is his 47th Grand Prix and he's looking to do well. But remember, the last 2 are eliminated. Carl Stonehill, the other Brit, goes from gate 3 for Workington in championship ambition to go here. There he is in the red helmet colours. A bit of movement of the tape, but away they go now, and Golub picks it up from the inside. Pursued now. Oh, a problem there for Andy Smith, who's taken out almost. Andy Smith is in 2nd place. We were problems there indeed. In white in 3rd place, Carl Stonehill has work to do, but Andy Smith, we've seen the bumps there, could keep going here in the blue helmet colours in pursuit of Thomas Golub. Back in 3rd place, Carl Stonehill could be going out of the Grand Prix. There is Andy Smith, work for him. He's been past there now, but look at this, Chris, they're all over the place.
Yeah, the problem to me, you can see there's a water liner right around the middle of the track, which has actually made conditions very patchy for the guys. They're going from a dry surface to a wet surface and back again, so that's where the problems are coming from.
A lap and a half to go, and this man, Carl Stonehill, could stay in the Grand Prix by dint of going by Andy Smith. It will relegate Andy Smith, who's now right at the back. Stonehill could be put under pressure by Sebastian Ulemek. But as they go into the final lap, Thomas Golub out front will march on, and Carl Stonehill, the lad from Workington, the 30-year-old, could stay in it if he can hold off that man in yellow, in the yellow helmet behind him, round this bend. It's mighty tough. Stoney's going to have to battle, but Stoney's just about done it behind Thomas Golub in red. Carl Stonehill marches on. He'll next race in heat number 12. Here in Sweden, he goes in gate 3 on the outside. Matti Purjan from the on his way. Not quite the same once again. Referee Tony Steele with the electronics here. The purpose here, but coming through the inside, Todd Wiltshire got the line, absolutely right. The flyer from Sydney has nipped through inside Bjarne Pedersen. Australia 1, Denmark 2. Back in 3rd place, David Roode in the white helmet colours. Matti Purjan at the back, but somehow Todd Wiltshire picked up a line that nobody knew existed, and now he's in front, Chris.
Yeah, great from Todd Wiltshire, really thinking on his feet in that first turn, finds himself out in front, and with track conditions as they are at the moment, that's got to be the place to be, but certainly made that bite work for him round that first corner, down the back straight, and he's looking good out front at the moment.
Certainly is looking good here, Todd Wiltshire, and could he march on? Remember, he was a runner-up in Cardiff earlier in the season. Other than that, he's had a disappointing series, but here, apart from the bumps, as you see there, Todd Wiltshire looking pretty good as he goes into the final lap. And look at Matti Purjan trying to get his bike going as if it's a horse, having no joy whatsoever. But this man in blue, Todd Wiltshire, he's got it just about right. And Todd Wiltshire, with the checkered flag beckoning, will march on in this Grand Prix in Ullevi. 2nd place in red, Bjarne Pedersen. 3rd, David Roode in white. Disappointment at the back for Matti Purjan, who once again tumbles out of a Grand Prix. But Todd Wiltshire, well, he may not have gone too well when he finished 3rd in heat 4. The Swede who won heat 3 goes to gate 2. Peter Carlson, fellow Swede, of course, second in heat 2. He goes from gate 3 in white. Really Holter, who's second in heat number 4. He goes from the outside in yellow and starting once again. The race held up. They're going to fly for the outside for Really Holter, who will now try and cut across. But Scott Nichols is where he wants to be. Scott Nichols is now under pressure, but he pulls away. His machine lifts. He's pursued by Really Holter in yellow. The battle is behind Scott Nichols. Could this be Scotty's night? It's a little bit rough for him, but he's out front. He's ahead of the man in yellow, Really Holter. And Holter is being challenged in turn by the man in white, Peter Carlson. But there goes on the inside. Holter gets by. Could be the first for gate 4 to win a heat.
Yeah, it's certainly made a good start. You can see he was just rolling a little bit at the start and seems to be working the track out. He worked Scotty Nichols out, he went in wide, cut back and made a lovely move up the inside, and he's going away, but Scotty's just trying to hang on to him.
It'll be quite enough for Scotty Nichols to get second place. He'll march on to heat 15 if he gets that. He's got to hang on. Into the final lap they go. It's Really Holter in front from Norway. Scott Nichols from Britain in second place. Peter Carlson could go out of this. The Swedes won't be too pleased with this. The Wolverhampton rider in third place, but Scott Nichols will hold second behind Really Holter. Holter wins it. Scott Nichols second. Peter Carlson is third. He'll have a chance to go again in heat 11. He's not out of it. It's not an eliminating heat, and Nicholas Klingberg will as well. Nicholas Klingberg, for me, a surprise last. Goes on the inside of this one in red. Nicky Pedersen, the Dane, in blue, gate 2. Andres Johnson, the Swede, to be supporting gate 3 in blue. Michael Carlson from Sweden 2. Haven't had a full start yet. Up by the tapes again, this time on the inside. An absolute flyer for Krzysztof Cegielski, who did exactly that in heat 2. Round the outside, trying to catch him is Michael Carlson, but coming through in blue, Nicky Pedersen into second place. Right at the back is Andres Johnson. The Swedes won't like this, as Johnson almost comes off there in white and finishes in last place. But Cegielski, once again, is flying out front.
Cegielski looking quick out front. Not so Andreas Johnson, really struggling with the track conditions, catching him out there and making quite a big mistake in that corner. You can see Cegielski's just lifted a little bit on the inside, so these guys have really got to look where they're pointing these bikes and full concentration at the moment. Even when you're out in front, you can't really back off for a second.
A reminder, Andres Johnson at the back in white has a hand injury. I wonder if he's feeling it with these bumps, knocking his handlebars all over the place. But this man isn't. Krzysztof Cegielski goes into the final lap with something in hand in front of Nicky Pedersen. Both of these will march on to the main event to take on the big boys. The remaining two, the two Swedes, will have to go again, and that's quite a surprise for Michael Carlson, because Krzysztof Cegielski, 2 rides, 2 wins tonight for the pole in red. Second place in blue is Nicky Pedersen. He marches on. Michael Carlson gets third place. Andres Johnson, who on lap 2 hit the bump, is Jason Crump, who's reached 16A finals and won 6 Grand Prix, goes to the inside. Tony Ricardson, 10 Grand Prix wins, 4 times a world champion, gate 2. Billy Hamill, the 96 world champion, not fully fit, is E9. That man in red, Jason Crump, right third in the standings at home. Perhaps one of the favourites of tonight's meeting. Tony Speed is our referee. The wind blows the tapes towards the riders. Crump is left at the tapes, a surprise there. But Tony Ricardson in blue. You can hear the cheers because the Swedish favourites in front, pursued in second place in white by Billy Hamill. Back in third place in yellow, Lucas Bimmel. Right at the back, Jason Crump with work to do. But this track is looking almost impossible, Chris.
Yeah, it's looking very difficult for all the guys. Certainly not slowing Tony Ricardson down, though. You heard the crowd erupt as he hit the front, and he's looking good out front at the moment.
Yes, certainly Tony Ricardson riding with something in hand. The battle's on for second place. Billy Hamill now being challenged by the man in yellow, Lucas Bimmel. Bimmel has come through and holding off Crump, but Crump now tries to take him, and Crump moves into contention with just over a lap to go towards that second place. He's pursued Billy Hamill in white. All the action in second place now. What a ride by Jason Crump. Tony Ricardson miles in front, but Hamill in white, Crump in red. A battle join here. The tape's almost in sight, but look at this, down the back straight in white there. Billy Hamill, Jason Crump in red as they come off the final bend. Anything can happen here. Tony Ricardson wins it, and just in white, Billy Hamill gets second place there. But what a battle for those, because Jason Crump, having got by the man in the back, Lucas Bimmel. Ron Sullivan, the Aussie, joint leader of the Grand Prix, goes from gate 2. Gate 3 is our own Mark Moran, from whom we heard a few moments ago. Away they go once again. A good start on the inside for Greg Hancock, and Greg Hancock picks it up moving through into second place now on the inside in white. That's Mark Moran. Keep going, Mark. On the outside in blue, that's Ron Sullivan, one of the nicest riders around, and certainly gets a benefit from that. Back on the inside, Lee Adams in last place, but now out front, Greg Hancock is looking the world champion he was not too many years ago in '97.
Greg Hancock out in front. Neat, compact little style, Greg. Really a joy to watch. He's being chased down by Ryan Sullivan. You can see the guys all bumping through those holes there. And you see the guys in these races generally will be taking a look all over the track. We saw Ryan Sullivan there. He's going around the outside. He's been up the inside. This is their race to have a practice, have a look at the track and try and suss things out.
Far more valuable, of course, than practice yesterday. Here now being put under pressure, Greg Hancock, by the man in blue, Ron Sullivan. Hancock comes back. Oh, Sullivan almost locked it up there. Hancock now stretches it again down the back straight. Greg Hancock in front of Ron Sullivan. Sullivan almost lost it, but it is, as Chris says, their practice race. And Greg Hancock is now put under some pressure, wins it just. Greg Hancock in the red helmet colours from Ron Sullivan by the width of a wheel. And certainly from that point of view, they won't mind a good chance to practice on what's proved to be a very patchy track. And Ron Sullivan pursues Johnson, the Swede, gate 2, albeit with an injured hand. Thomas Golob from gate 3, 5 times Polish champion, and in an elimination heat, Bjarne Pedersen from the outside. Touch and go for Golob, Chris.
Yeah, he's not going to...
Remember, the last two go out of the Grand Prix. They get 4 and 3 Grand Prix points respectively. Into the first bend, the man in white there is Thomas Golob. He picks it up, probably won't be beaten from here. Around the outside in yellow, putting him under pressure is Bjarne Pedersen. Peter Carlson, the Swede, on the inside, who's come into this for the injured Greg Banasek. Would have been a wild card otherwise. But the 2 Grand Prix men out front. Oh, somehow Carlson getting in among them now. And Carlson coming through on the inside. Problems for Andreas Johnson at the back. His hand injury may be worrying him, but Golob goes again. A good race here.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a fantastic race. You can see Bjarne Pedersen there. He's the first guy to really have a good run right round the fence. Peter Carlson, on the other hand, he's looking at the inside. Thomas Golob is who's out in front, but he's gone swarming all over him.
A lap and a half to go. They don't really seem to know what line to take. It's anybody's luck on this track. A little bit of a bounce there, but Peter Carlson almost upset him. Allows Golob to consolidate in front. Thomas Golob into the final lap in the white helmet colours. Should march on to heat 16 with a victory here. Pursued in second place by Peter Carlson in red. It's elimination time for Andreas Johnson in blue and Bjarne Pedersen in yellow. Real disappointment for them. The 2 youngsters going out, the Danish hope, the Swedish hope, but the Thomas Golob there, a man we've seen so often in Grand Prix doing well, 5 times a Polish champion, and Thomas Golob has won that to move on to heat 16. Nicholas Klingberg from Sweden goes in gate 2. The Aussie Todd Wiltshire in gate 3 in the white helmet colours. Our own Carl Stonehewer on the outside.
Yeah, he's looking for that every little bit of grip he can find.
See what happens. He's got the space here. 3 on the inside. Wiltshire comes wide. Whoa! Down they go. 1, 2, 3 into the air fence. Let's hope they all get up. That's what it's there for, to provide safety. The race stopped by our referee, Tony Steele. Absolutely no option there. The man in yellow, Carl Stone, who looks to be wedged under the fence there somehow, Chris. That's Nicholas Klingberg. His bike is wedged under the fence, and that's the first crash of the night, and not what we wanted to see.
No, it's a pretty nasty looking crash. That air fence is nice and soft to hit, but when it's been sprung down on top of you like that and you've just been winded, it can be quite heavy, I can assure you of that.
Well, the referee has decided that, subject to fitness of riders and machines, all 4 riders will be there for the restart, but it's going to take some sorting out of that one. And certainly there's Nicholas Klingberg coming away to try and get himself organised. He's got his cutout switch in his hand, being wrenched off his wrist there. And
Klingberg over, he's just straightened up and just clipped the other guys. It's not the sort of thing we want to see. Take another little look at it. Michael Carlson there, just got his elbow in front of Nicholas Klingberg, who's had to straighten up. The other 2 guys there, Todd Wiltshire and Carl Stone, are absolutely nowhere to go, and not exactly what we wanted to see in that first corner. Have another look at this now. You can see again, domino effect. Nicholas Klingberg actually gets a foot peg or something caught maybe under his engine because he didn't turn at all, and certainly by no means intentional.
Well, it looks to be, Chris, as if they even punch at that air fence. It's going to take a little while to repair it.
Yeah, it could well do. One of these bikes weighs 80 kilos, and when you hit the air fence at about sort of 60 miles an hour, as you would in this first corner, with some force as well, it was a really nasty looking crash. absolutely perfect to have that air fence to go into at that point.
Well, we'll see it again here, but the lads back in the studio would have seen this on their monitors, and not a very pleasant crash, Keith.
I've got to say, Tony, that they're still wincing from it now. I'll come to you first, Gary, because you're the man in pain while you sit here anyway, and you've got to say, Cole.
Goes to the inside. Nicholas Klingberg, fellow Swede, in blue, gate 2. Todd Wiltshire, gate 3, in the white helmet colours. And Carl Stonehill, the man in yellow, excluded, of course, or really unfit to ride, gets awarded 3 Grand Prix points. This is forward once again. Takes the wind and died down a little bit, but the way they fly on the inside, Michael Carlson gets it right, coming across in white. The fast-skating Todd Wiltshire. Wiltshire leads Carlson down the back straight. Back in third is Nicholas Klingberg. We've got a battle as Klingberg picks up grip round the outside, takes a chance, and will have to come back again. But Carlson in red is now still leading. This is a tough one, Chris.
Yeah, how tough are these guys? Have just picked themselves up from that horrific-looking crash, and they're out there doing battle. This is a great race. Michael Carlson seems to have pulled clear now, seems to be having it his own way, but Todd Wiltshire and Nicholas Klingberg, they're giving it everything they've got, and having just picked themselves up off the ground, that's a great job they're doing.
Off the race car down, the man in red, Michael Carlson, leads down the back straight. Ahead of him, white, Todd Wiltshire. Remember, the first 2 go on to the main event. The man that finishes last is eliminated. He will get just 4 Grand Prix points. It's still bouncing, it's still bumping, it's a problem for Todd Wiltshire, but he keeps it down when it matters to keep himself ahead of Nicholas Klingberg at the back. Michael Carlson marches on out front in the red helmet colours. The Swedes will be delighted with this, and Michael Carlson, with the checkered flag just in front of him, takes it ahead of Todd Wiltshire in white. And the disappointment once again for Nicholas Klingberg in blue, because he's the man eliminated. Just 4 Grand Prix points for Nicholas Klingberg. He disappeared.
By being on the inside, but Todd it was. He pulled out clear at the start. You can see he's struggling there, getting so much traction. Now we can see the move from Michael Carlson dashing up the inside. Nicholas Klingberg decided to follow him through, but Todd thinking quick and dashing back up the inside. These guys really doing a fantastic job, considering they've just picked themselves up from that really heavy fall. You can see Todd there, he's full throttle control. All the guys really struggling with that bottom corner. You can see Todd bucking and rearing there. Michael Carlson, however, looking pretty smooth, and he's got to be happy with that.
Goes from gate 1 in red, gate 2 our own Martin Moran, gate 3 once again is Tony Steele. He's looking down on this as a starting margin, moves away with a purpose. Up by the tapes and away they go. Martin Moran at the back now in the blue helmet colours. But look at Todd Wiltshire. We said he was fast gating, and he's caught them all unawares on that bend. And it's Todd Wiltshire in front of Tony Ricardson. Ricardson putting him under pressure. Martin Moran's now moved through into 3rd place. Remember, it's not an eliminator. They all stay in, but it's vital as to what they do. And now sliding through is Rudy Holter into 3rd place. As out front, Tony Ricardson, now having got by Todd Wiltshire, extends his lead.
Yeah, Todd Wiltshire really impressing me. He always picks a setup for his bike that's going to get him off the start. It's not always fast enough, and this is a really fast track, big track, so he's maybe running out of speed. Tony Ricardson is who's out front, and he is looking fast.
Well, it always seems to happen. Tony Ricardson, even if he's caught from the gate, somehow sorts it out, somehow picks the line, and now goes into the final lap. Totally in command in this heat 13. It may be unlucky for some, but certainly not unlucky for Tony Ricardson. Ricardson out front in the red helmet colours is going to march on to heat 19, 1 away from the semis. 2nd place in yellow, Todd Wiltshire takes that. 3rd in white is Rudy Holter. Disappointment for Mark Moran in blue, right at the back. He knows that when he comes out next time, he may have to make changes and adjust things. But Tony Ricardson, can they ever stop this man? Remember, his first ever world final, he was runner-up in this very stadium to Janno Pedersen in 91.
Rushed into that corner right on his back wheel. He's turned the bike hard. He's made a straight line in the corner. And plenty of speed down that back straight. That's Tony Ricardson out in front. Take another look. You can see how close Tony rushes into his back wheel there. Tony really wants this success tonight, and he's just turning now. He's just going to get his wheels in line just that fraction earlier than Todd. Todd made a mistake, had to turn a bit more. Already Tony's got those wheels in line, and he's just moving past now. Not too much room, but that's classic Tony Ricardson.
Joint leader in the Grand Prix Series. Jason Crump currently 3rd. He's 3rd in heat 9 to get here. He goes in blue. Krzysztof Cegielski, 2 rides, 2 wins in white from gate 3. On the outside, the Swedish favourite, Peter Karlsson, in for the... Once again, the starting marshal, he's away. Takes fly up, it didn't look too even for me, but from the outside in yellow, looking good, is Peter Karlsson. Coming through in blue, Jason Crump, but look at that man in red. Ryan Sullivan has stretched his lead, rather like Tony Ricardson did back in 3rd place. Is Krzysztof Cegielski, but the joint leader, Ryan Sullivan, with Tony Ricardson in the Grand Prix, will look as if he has no trouble here.
Cegielski it was moving at the start, just anticipated it, certainly didn't pay off for him. We've got Ryan Sullivan out in front, looking fast enough. Jason Crump trying to chase him down, trying to stay in contact, just about hanging on to him. Certainly doesn't look any faster than Ryan at the moment.
Well, the front two will move on to be just one race from the semi-finals, and right now it looks as if it is 2 Australians. Ryan Sullivan, born in Melbourne, now lives in Adelaide. He's out front. In 2nd place, Jason Crump, born in Wales, now lives on the Gold Coast. He's in 2nd place. They're the only ones that count as they go into the final lap now here. Almost locked together, back in 3rd. Krzysztof Cegielski to pole. Will have to go in an elimination heat in heat 18 to stay in the Grand Prix, and could still do it. But these Australians are almost glued together, and Ryan Sullivan in red takes it ahead of Jason Crump in blue. Australia 1 and 2. Krzysztof Cegielski finishes 3rd in white. Peter Karlsson, the Swede, a shade disappointing in yellow, in 4th place, but Ryan Sullivan 15. The lineup, Lee Hamill for the USA on the inside, Lee Adams the Australian, he goes from gate 2, but our own Scott Nicholls will be watching him.
Interesting to hear Neil Middleton say they're changing his technique before the meeting, a bit more relaxation. Let's hope it works.
Well, let's hope he doesn't relax at the right time. The tapes are held there. It seemed to me that Lee Adams went too quickly, and I'm sure the referee will probably recall them here. It looks to me as if he has. The flashing red lights indicate that they've got to come back. A totally unsatisfactory start, and if we see the replay, I'm sure that. That's the lineup. This is heat 15. 2nd time lucky for Hansbrough. Between Tony Steele up by the tape. They all stay still this time. Lee Adams steals a mark, but up the inside in red goes Billy Hamill. Hamill down, squeezed out by Scott Nicholls coming through. That's what we want to see. Scott Nicholls, the young Brit, teammate of the man alongside me, Chris Louis. Scott Nicholls in white, hence the man in red. Billy Hamill into 2nd place, back in 3rd in blue. That's Lee Adams, and this is quite a shock. And Scott Nicholls, the technique is working.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's great news for Scott Nicholls, great news for Ipswich fans, and to see him out in front, he's really using his head. He didn't make the best start, but he certainly made the best first turn, but it's potting up for 2nd place now with Billy and Lee Adams.
Could be a great night for Scott Nicholls. Remember, it's not an elimination heat, but the winner of this one will be one race from the semi-finals. A ding-dong battle in 2nd place as Hamill comes through in front of Adams. The track continues to be bumpy. They hit the bumps there. Into the final lap they go. No problems for Scott Nicholls out front, but in 2nd place, still now, Hamill putting Adams under pressure. It's Adams in the blue helmet colours, the Australian, who looks set to take 2nd place now. But the heat winner in white, Scott Nicholls, a lovely race for him. In blue, in 2nd place, it's Lee Adams. Billy Hamill in red takes 3rd. Michael Karlsson brings up the rear. But it does mean that this man, Scott Nicholls, is one race from the semi-final and set for his best Grand Prix performance yet. Coming back from injury, of course. We had him in our studio for a Grand Prix that he wonder whether he will reflect on that, because Scott Nicholls might have done better to have come 2nd, because in his next race in Heat 19, he faces Tony Ricardson and Jason Crump. And Trimble already qualified for next year's Grand Prix by the World Championship final on Sunday. He's from the Czech Republic, goes to gate 2. Gate 3 is Nicky Pedersen in white from Denmark. And Thomas Golov, the big one, big up by the tape. It's a good start there on the inside in red. Greg Hancock gets it just about right, takes the others wide. Wide is still the man in yellow, Thomas Golov. Golov now being challenged for 2nd place by Lucas Drimmel, but Golov going the long way round to try and get by Hancock. Hancock picks up the inside. Bumps it is for the man in blue, Drimmel. Bumps it is for Nicky Pedersen. And out front now it's Golov in pursuit of this man, Greg Hancock.
Yeah, Greg out in front, looking pretty good at the moment. Made just a little bit of contact with Lucas Drimmel going into that first turn. Thomas Golov's now settled into 2nd place, looking a little bit faster than he did in his previous race where they were all over him, but still can't keep a hold of Greg Hancock. He's got Lucas Drimmel really buzzing around on his back wheel, and he's now making a line up the inside. Thomas has seen him coming, moved over a little bit, but he's going to have to go some to keep young Lucas behind him.
Lap and a bit to go for these, and they're going to be really battling here. Out front, Greg Hancock to get clear of the mayhem. Coming through on the inside is Lucas Drimmel. Golub has gone wide and looks beaten into third place. Half a lap to go. Golub's work to do. It's not an eliminator. He's not out, but he faces a battle on the front two. Greg Hancock with some comfort in red. Second place, Lucas Dribble comes through in blue. Ahead of Thomas Golub in yellow. Nicky Pedersen in white. A tremendous ride that by Greg Hancock. He now is one race from the semi-finals. Having won that heat, he'll be going through gate 2 in heat 2. First two march on to be one race from the semis. René Holter in red for the inside from Norway. Billy Hamill from the USA goes from gate 2. Peter Carlson, the local boy, Swede. He goes from gate 3 on the outside. Nicky Pedersen from Denmark. 3 down on the up by the pace the way they go. Man in blue, Billy Hamill to the 4, cuts across, leads, picking up grip outside him in yellow, Nicky Pedersen, but he goes backwards now. Oh, the lift there on the inside for René Holter could have brought carnage, but now Pedersen taking a chance and trying to go inside Billy Hamill. Hamill goes wide, Pedersen has got by him, a ding-dong battle. They finish first and second, but look at the man in red. René Holter's trying to put him under pressure, and Holter does, but goes wide and almost into the fence, and then allows Hamill to come back. It's all happening here, Chris.
It certainly is happening in this one, Tony. I think the boys, you know, the track's getting slicker and they're all making changes to their bikes to make them go forward, but they're really struggling with the holes in the track now. We can see René Holter's not finished with Billy Hamill yet.
Well, I think Hamill shut the door on him there when Holter tried to come down the outside, that at the start of lap 3. But now out front in yellow, Nicky Pedersen, who's fought a real battle through everybody there. Billy Hamill in second place, as you say, Holter not done yet. And Holter now comes through into second place. Hamill will come again, there's not far left. Hamill will now try and come back on the inside. Holter will hold out. Pedersen out front in yellow wins it. Second place goes to René Holter in red. Billy Hamill third in blue. Billy Hamill will come again. Well, he won't because he's eliminated from that one. Just 6 race Grand Prix points and a real disappointment for Billy Hamill, who went into this one in 9th place. But Nicky Pedersen will be absolutely delighted with that performance that takes him on to heat 21.
Billy Hamill struggling with the grip. Nicky Pedersen moves over. There's only inches between their handlebars there, and Billy must be wondering what's going on. He's found himself out in front to start with, and then he goes backwards. René Holter comes past him. And, you know, you have to wonder how fit Billy is. He's been struggling with a crushed vertebrae injury. Missed a lot of meetings in the UK over the last couple of weeks.
Skelski on the inside in red. Thomas Golub, gate 2 in blue. Mark Moran in white goes from gate 3. Wide outside is Michael Carlson. In Sweden, of course, who races for Wolverhampton. That's the line. It's Golub, gate 2. Mark Moran is in gate 3. The Ram gets a start this time. Can he cut across? He does. He's eased wide, in fact, by Sigelski. And now Mark Moran is last and has an awful lot of work to do. In front in red, Christoph Sigelski. Place 2 is Thomas Golub. Back in third place, Michael Carlson. And the Ram looks out of this, Chris.
Yeah, he took a bit of a knock on the first turn. Sigelski made a good start. He did make a good first corner. Unfortunately, left Mark high and wide. And now Sigelski's really going away. He's in front of his sort of more illustrious Polish man, Thomas Golub. Golub seems to be struggling. He's riding on the inside. He's hit that hole, and looks like that's left a big enough hole for Michael Carlson to come through.
Yes, well, Michael Carlson now in his second place, and the Ram certainly is there. But look at that down that back straight, and work to do for all of them here. The man in yellow, Michael Carlson, is challenging now the rider in red, Christoph Sigelski, has it there for the taking, and it looks as if the second place is going to go to Michael Carlson, and Thomas Golub will be out of this Grand Prix, and that's a surprise the way he started. Round the back straight, Christoph Sigelski, the 22-year-old, the young Polish pretender, 23 next Tuesday, celebrates his birthday with a victory. Christoph Sigelski wins that. Mark the Ram and Thomas Golub go out, and you could have laid a fair shade of odds against that, and real disappointment for Thomas Golub.
See there on the inside, that's Thomas Golub. He's really struggling. He's hit a really deep hole full of dirt there. That's messed him up completely. He's had to turn the bike as he's come onto the straight, and lost a lot of speed. You can see he's looking over his shoulder. He knows he's made the mistake. He knows that Michael Carlson's going to be coming through, and it's an all-important position for Michael Carlson. Puts him further up in this Grand Prix. He's got another ride to race now, and he's going to be happy with that.
The Aussie goes from gate 3, and on the outside, that's Lucas Strimmel, and certainly the Scott Nichols do it. See what happens. Untitled takes away they go. Good start on the inside by Tony Carlson. Scott Nichols in blue now comes through on the inside. He's in second place, and Scott Nichols continues to be in second place, but on the outside in red, it's Ricardson, and Nichols has to give way to the tough tackling, as they say, of those guys as they come through. In yellow now, Lucas Dribble opens up a gap. Round the outside in red goes Ricardson, coming through into third place in blue on the inside now. Scott Nichols, work to do for him. It's not an eliminator. They can all go again. The crowd are roaring out front for Tony Ricardson, because there he goes now, past Lucas Dribble.
It's all happening in this race. We had Lucas Dribble out in front, but Tony's just showing his class. He's moved out in front now, and we've got a battle for third and fourth as well. Young Scott Nichols finding himself at the back. I have to wonder if he actually meant to miss that start. It looked like it was a calculated effort to cut back, but it hasn't paid off for him.
Into the final lap they go. Tony Ricardson once again way out in front. How often do we say that? Lucas Dribble is in second place and being challenged now by Jason Crump in the white helmet colours. Scott Nichols will be at the back, but he will go again. Ricardson wins it. Second place just in yellow. That goes to Lucas Dribble. Jason Crump third in white. Scott Nichols fourth in blue. And Ricardson and Nichols march on to the semi-finals. Oh, rather, Ricardson and Dribble march on to the semi-finals, and Tony Ricardson acknowledges the fan.
Not too big a hole. Lucas Dribble, he'd calculated that, looked at that and thought, yeah, I can cut back up the inside, plenty of space, found himself out in front. You can see Crumpy's just caught running to the back of Lucas Dribble, had to back the throttle off. That's allowed Tony to pull up onto Lucas, having a look right round the outside. There's not going to be much room there, Tony, but Tony's going to go for it. He's on home turf. He's going to go for every little chance he can get. Lovely run around the outside, just showing why he's won those World Championships. And once he gets out in front, he just pulls away. Having another look there, Tony Ricardson riding that high wide line. You can see the dirt coming off his back wheel. There's only about 2 or 3 inches there, just room for his elbows. Moves out in front. You can see Lucas Dribble turn the bike a little bit too hard, lost some speed, and that's allowed Tony out in the dirt to pull out clear and get where he wants to be. That's out in front. Certainly won that one with ease once he got there. But it's nice to see the boys all giving him a hard time. He's having to think about it, and he's certainly not getting it all his own way.
Well, certainly we know now. Ron Sutherland from Australia, joint leader in the current World Championship. Greg Hancock from the USA on heat 16 goes in gate 2. Todd Wiltshire, who finished second in heat 13, he's in. That's Ron Sullivan in red. Oh, and almost hanging himself there in blue was Greg Hancock, who charged the tapes. Our referee is Tony Steele. Now, if there's any controversy here, it's only if your bike hits the tapes and not your person that you're excluded in a Grand Prix. And that, I think you'll find, hit him on the neck. And I'm not sure the tapes went up properly there, Chris.
I think possibly they did, Tony. I'm not 100% sure, but it looked like Greg was caught out by a little bit of movement from Ryan Sullivan. I think we just saw him move. We can see there. Just saw Ryan. He just moved his bike and his body just like split seconds before Greg actually ran into the tape. So I think Greg, you know, he'd have been looking across when you...
This time the tapes go up unhindered. I have to say Hancock, as if he was trying to make steal a march there, and he does come through the inside. But Ryan Sullivan's out front, but Hancock stretches it, picks up some grip from apparently nowhere. Sullivan's on the outside, Hancock's on the inside, back in third place in yellow. That's Lee Adams, the front two, automatically through to the semi-finals. These two looking good. Right at the back is Todd Wiltshire, and a good ride indeed now by Greg Hancock.
Yeah, great first corner from Greg, just pulled himself clear down that back straight. He's got Ryan Sullivan behind him. I think Ryan's going to want to keep chasing him. He's going to be looking over his shoulder. He knows that Lee Adams is there. Lee won't give up. He's going to keep plugging away. Looks like Todd Wiltshire's got problems at the back there. He had a problem in the first turn, and he just wasn't able to make up ground. He's pulled out now.
Well, he's not eliminated. He'll have another go in heat 21 to try and make the semis, but these two out front. Time indeed for Ron Sullivan to look back. Ron Sullivan's got an engine failure now. Real problems for Ron Sullivan, who pulls up, which allows Lee Adams to make an automatic place in the semis. Sullivan will have to go again. Real problems there for two riders in this race, but Greg Hancock in blue has no such problem. Second place goes to Lee Adams in yellow, and real disappointment for Ron Sullivan in red. Real disappointment for Ron Sullivan. It's a puncher he's got. We can see that on your screen. A flat back tyre. It means that Ron Sullivan will go to heat 22 from the inside gate.
Make the final. He really needs to go out and win it to stay in contact with Tony Ricardson and Ryan Sullivan at this point.
Well, he's got to make the first two in this to get to the semi, along with Todd Wiltshire, gate 2 in blue. Mickey Pedersen in white. Watkins. Up by the legs and away they go. And Crump gets just the start he wants. Can he hold into it? Pick it up round the outside. Michael Carlson challenges him. Crump on the inside. Moves away to second place behind Carlson. Moving into third is Tom Wiltshire in blue. On the outside at the back in white is Nicky Pedersen. But Michael Carlson has got it just about right and is now stretching his lead here on lap 2. Crump will keep chasing him. Crump will have to hold off Nicky Pedersen behind him. He's doing so now. This is what Jason Crump wants. Second place will do.
Yeah, pressure or not, Jason it was that actually made the start. Doesn't seem to be as fast as he sometimes is. Michael Carlson found a way past fairly easily, but Jason's just settling down in second place. Looks like that's going to be okay for him. He'll be happy with that. But Michael Carlson is out in front at the moment.
Still a very patchy track, and it seems to a little bit potluck as to which part of it you get. Because Jason Crump, when he makes the gate like he did, is not often past, and he has been this time. Crump in second place. Michael Carlson in the yellow helmet colours out front. The Swedes are cheering yet again because they're going to have another rider into the semi-finals to join Tony Rickardsson. Crump is safely there in second place in red, and it's goodbye Grand Prix to Nicky Pedersen in white and the Australian Todd Wiltshire in blue that bring up the rear. But that Australian there, Jason Crump, and Michael Carlson with the wave, are perfectly happy finals for the first time in 8 Grand Prix. Ryan Sullivan on the inside from Australia. Scott Nichols of England goes from gate 2. Krzysztof Cegielski from Poland, gate 3, and on the outside. Ryan Sullivan will want to win this, and Ryan Sullivan fakes it from the gate. Can he hold it? Pushing it in wide there. Round the outside, Krzysztof Cegielski, but Sullivan goes away to leave the others to battle for the minor places. Then at the moment by our own Scott Nichols. Could Scott Nichols be through? Oh, Scott goes wide, loses 1 place, loses 2 places, finishes up right at the back, and now looks out of it. Tragedy for Scott Nichols. Triumph out front for Ryan Sullivan.
Yeah, such a shame for Scott Nichols. Really made a big mess of that corner. He had a dodgy first corner as well. He nearly ran the back wheel of Ryan Sullivan and just seems to have lost his composure. Can't really find his way through those holes. You need a map out there at the moment.
Well, Scott Nichols is struggling at the back in blue now, but Ryan Sullivan, the joint leader of the Grand Prix, looks set for the semi-finals here, and Ryan Sullivan is certainly looking good here because he's going to join Greg Hancock, Lucas Dribble and Jason Crump in the second of our semi-finals. If it stays like this, into the final lap he goes. Man in second place, Rennie Holter in yellow, and Rennie Holter could be a great night for him to make the semi-finals behind Ryan Sullivan. But disappointment at the back. Scott Nichols is still trying, but Ryan Sullivan's the winner. Through to the semis. Second place in yellow, Rennie Holter through to the semis. Krzysztof Cegielski once again disappointed, and Scott Nichols too in last place in blue, and that will give him just 7 Grand Prix points to add to the points in which the lineup. Michael Carlson on the inside in red, Tony Rickardsson gate 2, Rennie Holter gate 3, Lee Adams on the outside in yellow. Who are your top 2 in this one, Chris?
Difficult one to call, but the form book.
Well, Rennie Holter's never made a final. 3 times a semi-finalist. This is the 4th time he's made the semis. On the inside in blue, a great start for Tony Rickardsson, followed by in red Michael Carlson. Round the outside in yellow goes Lee, and oh, Rickardsson has got to come back from that. Now he's in last place. Could we have a shot? That will please Ryan Sullivan. He almost came down, but now he has the class to fight back. But Michael Carlson's in front. Tony Rickardsson moving into third place. Ahead down Lee Adams. Tony Rickardsson into second place, ahead of Rennie Holter. They're raising the roof here in this Ullevi Stadium as Rickardsson goes out in pursuit of Carlson. It's Sweden 1 and 2.
A rare mistake from Tony Rickardsson there. He didn't quite get that thing under control in time. Nearly came off the back, but he's wasted absolutely no time in just battling his way straight back to the front. Gone ahead of Michael Carlson now. It's going to take a lot to stop this bloke tonight.
Well, if ever cream could come to the top, it has there. Tony Rickardsson all but down and out. Went by 1, 2 and 3, and look at the battle in second place. Lee Adams coming through now. Rickardsson out front in the blue helmet colours. The ride of his life for Tony Rickardsson. Came back from the dead in second place in yellow. That goes to Lee Adams, who makes the final at long last behind Tony Rickardsson in blue. Disappointment for Rennie Holter and Michael Carlson, but really that's got to be the ride of 2002. Tony Rickardsson in front, down the back.
Tonight, looking at the start, you can see Rennie Holter's just got a little bit too much traction. He's lifted. Tony, as ever, he's kept the thing well in control. He's made a good start. He's just going to move over to mid-track. See Lee Adams, he's a little bit concerned about Lee there. Lee's made a good start from gate 4, as I predicted before the race, but it's this point there. So much control to stay on that thing. He didn't want to back the throttle off. He knew he'd got the guys right behind them, but he took that thing right up to the point. It couldn't have gone any further without tipping off the back. Gave the boys a chance. They all went past him. He's already now moved up back into second place, chasing Michael Carlson. Just stays on the inside line there. Probably a little bit of luck to just catch a rut there. It just moved him ahead, chucked him ahead in front of Michael Carlson, and Tony's looking so fast tonight. Unbelievable stuff from him.
Well, to get there, left himself plenty of space and has got a flyer from the start here now. Brunt will go round the outside. Has he got a clear path? Moved by 1, 2 into second place, but nipping through on the inside is Lucas Dribble, but rearing is Greg Hancock in trouble. Dribble taking all sorts of risks to pick it up out front, and now coming through, Jason Crump riding as if his life depends upon it here. But what have they got to do here?
Yeah, Ryan Sullivan, joint leader of the Grand Prix series. He's not going to be he's not going to want to be at the back. We heard Sam Amalenko saying earlier that him and Jason Crump can't find the setup. Certainly seems to be the case in this one. We've got Lucas Dribble out in front, Greg Hancock second, and they seem quite settled, but Crumpy hasn't given up the chase yet.
Jason Crump hasn't given up the trace, but this is a surprise with Ryan Sullivan right at the back, and this will ensure that Tony Ricardson will go into the next Grand Prix at Katowice in front and leading, because Ryan Sullivan's not going to catch them here. Ryan Sullivan's right at the back, and Ryan Sullivan will only get 11 Grand Prix points to go to 123 after this if he stays in this position. But certainly a good ride by Lucas Dribble, and Lucas Dribble in the blue helmet colours takes the checkered flag ahead of Greg Hancock in red. They go through, Hancock makes the final again. Lucas Dribble has already qualified for the Grand Prix next year, will give a chance if he finishes the top 10 to Jason Lyons. But Lucas Dribble in blue winning that, real disappointment for the 2 Australians. Jason Crump
cut back around the inside on the first corner, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out in front.
So the defending world champion on the inside then. This is it, the final of the Grand Prix of Scandinavia. And in the box, Tony Millard.
Do just about anything. They say walk on water here in Gothenburg. Away they go. Tony Ricardson in red on the inside. Cutting back up the inside now in white is Lee Adams. And he's stolen a march. The Aussie could be set for his first ever Grand Prix victory. But Ricardson comes back round the outside in red. Moving him wide in blue and going even wider is Lucas Dribble. Right at the back in yellow, Greg Hancock. But the man in white, Lee Adams from Mildura, Victoria, Australia. Half the race gone, and Lee Adams is in charge.
Yeah, I don't know if Lee Adams has changed his setup, but he's found himself a rocket ship there. He's actually not really being eaten into by Tony Ricardson, and Lucas Dribble, he's hanging on in there in front of Greg Hancock, but no, Lee Adams is looking good. It's not very often he gets past at this stage, but he's got Tony Ricardson on his tail.
A lap and a quarter to go. Tony Ricardson on the tail of Lee Adams. Lee Adams in the white helmet colour, the Australian who races for Oxford. He's put up 25 double-figure scores in a row at home, but tonight will match all of those. Down the back straight he goes. The cheers are mounting. Ricardson won't catch him. Lee Adams is about to win his first ever Grand Prix. Lee Adams takes it ahead of Tony Ricardson in second place. Lucas Dribble in third place, but Lee Adams at long last has done it. First to congratulate him is Tony Ricardson. Lee Adams has often been so near and yet so far, but Lee Adams is the Scandinavian champion, and Lee Adams has produced a purple patch for his first ever Grand Prix victory. The crowd have been silenced somewhat by the defeat for Tony Ricardson, but I'm sure nobody begrudges the man who races for Oxford in the British League, who comes from Mildura in Australia, and the 31-year-old Lee Adams has been the Australian champion 6 times, but this is his first ever Grand Prix victory. It gains him 25 points and climb up the stages there. Tony Ricardson in second place, Lucas Dribble in third. But what a race that was, and somehow in the first 2 bends, Chris, Lee Adams stole a march, and the flag from Australia is flying high here in this Ullevi Stadium. The klaxons are going, and Lee Adams is showing a fair amount of emotion. It's not often you see that from him, but he'll remember tonight as the night when he won his first ever Grand Prix.
Yeah, no one's going to begrudge Lee that win there. He's been working and plugging away so hard, and I know that his team behind him, Team Owen Brothers, they're going to be absolutely delighted with that result tonight. they're going to be partying long and hard, I think, tonight. They're going to be really happy.
Yeah, very lucky, you know. I think I get very good setup today, and thanks for all the people who helping me, my team and my engine tuners. Without them, would be no possible.
It was an amazing race. People were pushing very hard.
Oh, yeah, it was tough, you know. Everybody was passing each other, and I'm happy to be third.
Well done, your second podium finish of the year. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Well done, Lucas. Tony, congrats. I thought you were going to do it. Second's not bad, though.
No, it seems like I keep picking up all these second places every time I come here, you know. I think I was up for a win tonight, but, you know, Lee Adams rode a great race and won it, and all the congratulations to him.
It was an amazing semi-final. No one knew what was going on there. Lots of toing and froing.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was time for a little bit of excitement for the crowd, and honestly, I was pretty excited myself, or scared.
I think you spent more time on one wheel than you did on two.
Yeah, you know, I made a great start, and I just picked up some grip in one of the ruts and was dead last, and then made my way up to the first place here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I'm sure everybody did. Congrats anyway. Lots of points. Still up there on the leaderboard. Well done. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Lee! Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations from everybody. I know there's lots of warm wishes here for you. You've done it. Your first ever.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's been a long time coming, and you know, I got to thank all the boys in the pit crew, and you know, it's been a hard road for them too. So I'm just wrapped. You know, I just can't believe it. I hope I can build on this, and you know, maybe we can finish in that third spot.
You were giving it some out there.
Yeah, I was trying hard. You know, I was coming off the outside gates. I come off gate 4 twice, and I think I was making too good a start, and in that one I kind of missed it, and just got the run around the inside. You know, it was absolutely perfect. So I just can't believe it.
Tough track for everyone out there tonight.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's really difficult conditions, but you know, if you use your head, you could pass, and you know, you had to sort of have your wits about you.
No longer the nearly man, Lee Adams. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done, the winner here.